Welcome back to another explainer. You know, we step into these little metal boxes every single day, right? We just completely trust the machinery. Well, today, we're breaking down a highly documented and honestly incredibly chilling anomaly that's going to make you question that trust, and maybe even your own senses. We're looking at a completely unexplained sequence of events involving an elevator in the middle of the night. And what's wild is that this case relies on cold, hard data from security cameras and mechanical sensors, which, if you ask me, makes the conclusion all the more unsettling. We are starting right out of the gate with a super simple question. If you were alone in this elevator, would you press the button? It instantly sets this eerie, suspenseful tone for what we're about to uncover. So I want you to keep that in the back of your mind as we go through the evidence today, because by the end of this explainer, I'm pretty sure your answer might just change. Okay, part one, the midnight stop. So the security camera data starts off completely mundane. The time is exactly 2:13 a.m. The elevator comes to a halt and the doors slide open. But according to the camera feed looking directly into the cab, absolutely no one gets in and no one gets out. It's literally just an empty box opening to an empty hallway in the dead of night. And get this, it didn't just happen anywhere. It occurred on the 13th floor. You know, a floor so famously unlucky that a lot of modern buildings just pretend it doesn't even exist. But here, it is the exact center of our mystery, which definitely adds a distinct layer of atmosphere to the data we're about to review. Moving on to part two, the invisible passenger. Right, so here is where the anomaly gets genuinely terrifying. The security cameras gave us absolute visual confirmation that the cab was empty, right? But the very second those doors closed, the elevator's internal mechanical weight sensor suddenly triggered. The camera saw absolutely nothing, but the machinery felt something entirely different. Despite that totally empty camera feed, the sensor definitively registered the presence of exactly one additional person. We're not talking about a slight fluctuation in pounds here. This was the distinct, sudden weight of one extra, completely invisible passenger stepping right inside that confined space. This brings us to part three, the locked floor. Now, seeing a sensor anomaly like this at 2:13 in the morning just isn't something you ignore. Security rushed straight upstairs to the 13th floor to confront whatever or whoever had just stepped onto that elevator. They launched an immediate physical search of the area to find the source of this crazy data contradiction. And what did they find? Absolutely nothing. The 13th floor hallway was completely empty, and honestly, even weirder, every single surrounding room was locked from the inside. There were zero logical escape routes, no one was in the hall, and no one had hastily retreated into a nearby room either. I mean, at this point, I think I'd just be taking the stairs for the rest of my life. Finally, part four, the unanswered question. To this very day, no one knows who, or perhaps, way more terrifyingly, what the elevator carried that night. The data simply refuses to align. It leaves us with a completely unsolved, chilling mystery, giving us this presence recorded only by the weight it left behind. Which actually brings us right back to where we started. Knowing what you know now, the 2:13 a.m. stop, the blind cameras, the sudden weight of an invisible passenger, and that totally empty, locked floor. If you found yourself standing completely alone in that exact same elevator tonight, would you still press the button?